Third down and 20.
Frank did put out a tweet saying that he did like those early second-round picks. He thinks the second round is going to be a good round. And Frank, why don't you just kick us off here with what you think about this class?
Okay, yeah. So one of the reasons why I tweeted out, I think that the early second round especially is being undervalued, right? Is that this quarterback class has been getting way too much crap for what could very realistically happen. I'm not coming out here and saying, oh, the 2022 quarterback class is amazing and everyone who needs a franchise quarterback, come on and line up because we got whole lots of them. But the fact of the matter is that we could easily have 3 to 4 super flex first round pick caliber quarterbacks. And no one seems to want to admit that. They just say, oh, quarterback class, trash. That means that all the quarterbacks suck and none of them are getting taken. We all know Matt Corral right now is looking like QB1. The guy is just playing lights out every week. Had a phenomenal game last week against Tennessee. Looks to be locked and loaded for the quarterback one of the class. Any disagreements there?
Nope.
No, it looks like it's going to be him.
Number 2, now I'm not necessarily super sold on this guy, but a lot of people that are very well respected in the industry are. And I haven't really dove into his film a lot. Malik Willis could very well be another top 15, top 20 potential first round quarterback in the NFL draft. And considering the fact that this dude has unbelievably good rushing upside for quarterbacks, not necessarily saying he's on this level, but he's around the Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson ability of running the football. He's definitely better than someone, say, Russell Wilson, who consistently for years has had a good little rushing floor, putting up anywhere between 200, 400 rushing yards, handful of touchdowns. Malik Willis could be a dude that's just dynamic with the football in his hands, getting 800, 1,000 yards in the NFL if he is a stud prospect, right?
Just to add on to that real quick, I think that's going to boost his dynasty and his fantasy outlook.
Exactly, dude.
People are going to say, oh, look at this rushing he's going to put up. Because not to point fingers here, but look at Jalen Hurts real quick. He last week looked pretty bad. Let's be honest. He didn't look good last week, and he had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he put up 25 points. So, the rushing floor is going to boost Malik Willis here in fantasy.
He just needs to be a top 10 pick, and then he's instantly a top 5 super flex pick, probably top 3.
Yep.
I was going to say, if he goes in the top 10 NFL draft, he'll definitely be top 3.
Which I think he will, just because if you think about it, there's always a team that needs a quarterback, and there's always going to be a team that's going to, slightly reach to make sure they get the quarterback they want. And Malik Willis is just a guy that screams that to me.
Even if he just goes in the first round, Lamar was still at the back half of the first round in Superflex drafts, I'm pretty sure. And with the fact that value of quarterback seems to be increasing, especially in the recent years, if he's even as a first round pick, he's going to be in the first round of Superflex drafts. That really means you need one more.
Yeah.
You need one more quarterback prospect to be a first round pick, preferably that top 20, top 15 NFL draft pick. And all of a sudden you have 3 first round super flex quarterbacks and a relatively decent looking quarterback class.
Yeah. Real quick. Do you guys think there will be a third quarterback to get into the top 20 or no? And if you do, think who?
Yes. Carson Strong.
You think it's going to be, I feel like it's going to end up being Howell.
I think it's going to be Howell too.
I think it's going to be Desmond Ridder.
Oh,
okay.
Oh.
But you see this? You see how we just mentioned 3
Yeah,
people?
I know.
We just need one. We need one of them to pan out. And now you have 3 first-round quarterbacks. You're going to have running back. There's already a couple of decent running back prospects. Not the best running back class, but it could very well be pretty decent. And then we just mentioned that this receiver class is really strong. Dude, do not sleep on the 2022 draft class because the value of these picks has been getting shat on, it seems like, for the better part of a couple months.
I think that's the case just because people are getting ahead of themselves and looking at the 2023 class, and they're looking at the likes of, Bryce Young, DJ Uiagalelei. I don't know how to say that guy's name. Bijan Robinson, even Keyshawn Booty or whatever his name is on LSU. All these guys, Boutte, whatever his name is. All these guys in the 2023 class are, looking better. But at the end of the day, like, you're gonna have everyone come draft time is gonna be trying to buy in these picks, and everyone's gonna be trying to pick up those, late seconds, early thirds. It happens every year. And we've seen it over and over again that people underrate a draft class, and then come draft time, they're like, oh, wait, he's actually really good, though.
Well, I just struggle seeing this class compete with the 2020 and 2021. So if you go in with the expectations of that, that's where you get hurt, is if you think you're getting those kind of
Well, yeah,
talents.
especially the top end. Like, I don't think that the top end will necessarily be as strong, but 101 is still a damn good pick. Like, let's not act like Matt Corral isn't a very good prospect right now, and he's not a damn
Matt
good
Corral
player.
looks like a stud.
He's not a generational guy, but he looks very good.
Yeah,
okay, but like,
Yeah.
I think he looks just as good as Zach Wilson did last year. Zach Wilson went second overall and was a high dynasty pick.
Sure. Yeah. I have no complaints. I think he will be a top pick, top 5 pick in the NFL draft. He'll probably be 101 in a super flex dynasty draft. At the worst, maybe 103, 104. But I'm just, if I could, we're going to get into a different segment in a little bit, but if I could trade that kind of early first for the likes of any of the rookie quarterbacks from this year, probably not named Mac Jones or Zach Wilson. If I could trade for those top 3 guys, I would do that.
but like, I think that argument, the fact that the tippy top end isn't as strong as the past couple classes, is seeped into contender first round picks, and that has led some people to just be like, oh, 2022 draft class stinks. Might as well trade my 2022 first for anything that's going to be halfway decent. But come draft time, dude, the late first round is looking pretty damn good right now. There seems to be some really talented receiver prospects that are going to be available, and it's prototypical receivers, right? These guys are big. George Pickens, for example, if George Pickens comes out alongside of all the other guys that are playing right now, this receiver class stacks up with the one last year easily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you guys rather have 2022 mid first or George Kittle?
Probably Kittle.
I think still Kittle.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Kittle's. I'm sorry, I was looking on Keep Trade Cut, but Kittle was ranked exactly the same as a 2022
overreactions
mid first. 2022 late first. We're talking. All right, would you guys have this late first, or would you have Baker, Travis Etienne, Mike Evans, Tom Brady?
I'd take the late first. Mike Evans might make me consider, though.
Yeah, I'd keep Mike Evans, but
Evans, honestly, Baker makes me consider. I think I'd
have Baker. I'd take Baker.
Yeah, same. I lean
Other
Baker.
than that. All right, so it seems like it's slightly undervalued currently, the 2022.
I think especially if you need a quarterback, Baker's like he's a good long-term investment. So
yeah. All right, anything else, Frank?
I mean, not really. I just don't think, like, I'm not necessarily saying to contending teams, oh, don't sell your 2022 first round picks. And every league is obviously always so different with how they value draft picks. In some leagues, these draft picks will go for gold. And in other leagues, you'll struggle to get a halfway decent player with a draft pick. But right now, it just seems like the 2022 firsts are being really undervalued, especially if you're a contender where people are saying, oh, well, they're just assuming if you're a contender that you're going to be in the championship. So, like, you very well could be selling a 109 or a 110 that lands a top 3 receiver prospect this year or a pretty decent running back prospect, and you're selling it for pennies on the dollar.
Potentially even one of those quarterbacks that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is why, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. Throwing on like those late firsts plus like a solid receiver to then get a different receiver, like trades like that, I feel like at the time they seem fine, but then like when the draft comes and like the player's picked, you're gonna be like, wow, I overpaid. Like right now, I just look Chase Claypool plus a 2022 late first equals Stephon Diggs, right? But then come draft time, that turns out to be Chase Claypool plus a David Bell or a Garrett Wilson, and you're gonna be like, oh, well, I feel like I overpaid for this one. Like to get
Well,
this.
especially if you're starting a lot of players in your leagues. Like if you have a super flex spot and another flex spot and a third receiver, all of a sudden it's like, fuck, I need more players. You know, when you start getting into buy-a-gettins like we're in right now, depth all of a sudden becomes really important. That could be the difference between a win and a loss. And you never know. And sometimes, even for strong teams, that could be the difference between a playoff berth and not.